Now, during the news conference where Sheriff Nielsen talked about this incident, he made an interesting comment. He said that law enforcement has become the last line of defense for people who are not getting adequate mental health care. It's no secret that Idaho has cut state funding for those who need help with mental health services. And for Sheriff Nielsen and other sheriffs, they say there is a link between access to adequate mental health care and what they see on the streets. Logan McDougall has more tonight.
I am extremely frustrated that in every one of these cases, including this one, there's mental health issues here, and people off their medication or people self-medicating, and it is a sad thing that law enforcement is the catch net when society cannot take care of their mentally ill.
According to a report from the National Alliance on Mental Illness, from fiscal year 2009 to 2012, the state of Idaho has cut $10.2 million from the mental health care budget. The national per capita average is $122 a person, while Idaho spends only $44 per resident. Representative Janice McGeehan, chair of the House Health and Welfare Committee, says that money was cut in a time when all budgets were being slashed.
During that same time frame is that our tax revenues statewide were down 25%. So that's pretty significant reduction in tax revenues. So we did make cuts to mental health services and as well as every government program and agency saw cuts.
Last month, a McCammon man was shot after a standoff with the Bannock County Sheriff's Department. Dennis Buzzell has a history of arrests related to alcohol. Later in the month, Kevin Banglin jumped through a basement window of a residence in Pocatello. Banglin was described as combative and erratic and was eventually tased. He later died at Portneuf Medical Center. Today, a Utah man was involved in a standoff in Lava Hot Springs. Jason Weiberg was eventually talked out of the home, and he demanded to be shot because he did not want to go back to prison. Weiberg was tased and taken into custody. It could be impossible to draw a direct line from budget cuts to the three recent cases because each case is individual in nature. But McGeehan says she has heard comments like the one Sheriff Nielsen made from more than one sheriff.
Seeing more of these people showing up in our emergency rooms in the hospitals and in our county jails. And we had a lot of the sheriffs came and talked to us last session to ask us for, some assistance in helping them deal with that.
McGeehan says they did restore some funding in the past legislative session, $1.5 million for mental health and preventive dental services. Logan McDougall, KPVI News 6.
We've also got some statistics from Portneuf Medical Center. Licensed clinical social worker Steve Proctor says the incidents of suicide have risen significantly since 2007, and there has been a 30% increase in inpatient psychiatric admissions.